Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be interviewing a legend amongst legends in the world of horror, and I am just so excited about it. It's been a long time coming, but for a lot of you horror fans out there, I will be interviewing Reggie himself, Reggie Bannister from the Phantasm movies. Oh, it is so awesome, so exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be just awesome. I'm going to be interviewing him. His wife Gigi Bannister will be there as well. She will kind of be his interpreter, so to speak, because Reggie is a little hard of hearing. But he will be he will be my interviewee, as I should say, and I can't wait. I'm going to be asking him questions about his amazing career in horror, and there's nothing to say beyond that. I'm just speechless that I'm going to be interviewing such a legend like Reggie Bannister. It's going to be just awesome. So, here is my interview with Reggie Bannister and special appearance by his wife, Gigi. Hi, Gigi.
Yeah.
It's Tommy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tommy.
How are you?
We're good. We're good. Let me see if I have Reggie on the other line.
Okay.
Are you on the other line, Reg? He's getting his phone up and running.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay.
Hi, Reggie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
Got a buzz on the line.
Yeah, we got a buzz. Well, I've never minded a good buzz, you know.
Oh, yeah. We all like a good buzz every now and then.
Buzz, yeah. So how you doing?
I am great, sir. God, it's such an honor because to me, you're an icon of horror, and right now I'm the luckiest fanboy in the whole wide world, so thank you.
Oh, sure, man.
So, Reggie, did you know growing up that you wanted to be an actor?
Yeah, I did. I knew from, well, I don't know when I knew it, but I think I've always known it. If you had asked me when I was a little kid what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have told you I want to be a singer, I want to be an actor, and I want to be a politician.
But he was too honest to be a politician. So.
Yeah. So I dropped the political stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, I wound up being the politician in the family. So.
Well, you got my vote either way.
Oh, thank you. But he has played a politician many times.
Yeah. So, growing up loving music, I mean, who are your favorite musicians?
Oh, wow. Well, Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
was, probably the top of the list. And then, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, I loved, always did. As a matter of fact, I got a chance to meet and play with Steve Stills a long time ago when I was in a group called the Greenwood County Singers. And I had one of the guys in the group, Van Dyke Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hell of a musician.
Yes.
And I went over to Van Dyke's apartment one day, and he and Steve Stills were sitting there playing guitar. And I thought, oh, cool. And, he had just come from, I think he's from Florida, I think, and he had just gotten into town and decided to try and make a name for himself in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all sat down and played and stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
Amazing. Wow. Did you guys used to play Leadbetters?
At where?
At Leadbetters?
Leadbetters, I don't know if we ever played that. We used to play at the Ice House in Pasadena.
Yeah.
A lot. And there was...
the original Ice House.
Yeah, the original Ice House.
Yeah.
there was a lot of cool coffee houses and stuff. And where I first met Carson and Van Dyke, the two brothers that started the Greenwoods, I first met them. I first saw them play. They were a duo, and I saw them at the Ice House. No, it was a place called the Rouge et Noir in Seal Beach, California. And yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, I did stand-up comedy at the Ice House 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
It's a tough room, but yeah, it's a nice club.
Living is easy. Comedy is hard.
Oh, yes, it is. But you do it long enough, you get better at it.
That's true. And, it's like, being a musician, you have to talk in between songs. So you have to be on your game, and try and get the audience laughing, and smiling and, keep them entertained. Yeah, I got to be pretty proficient at that.
Nice. Did you go to college to study acting and music?
Oh, yeah. Actually, like I was saying, my whole life, when I was, the story I like to tell, there was this guy named Walking Charlie Aldrich who had a show, a TV show, on I think Saturday morning or something like that. And he would dress like a cowboy, and his show was geared towards kids because he would show cartoons. And so he made an appearance at this store that was near where I lived. It was called Anthony's.
Right.
And he saw me. I was like 3 years old or something. And my mom took me over there to, see if we could meet him. And he was just really a nice guy. And there was a big crowd around him, and he was standing over by this showcase, where they showed, I think it was jewelry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was looking at him, and I was kind of mesmerized by him. And he started looking at me, and he said, "Well, what's your name, little boy?" And I said, "Well, Reggie." And he said, "Well, Reggie, what do you do?" And I go, "I sing." And he goes, "You sing?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, would you sing something for us?" And I said, "Sure." And so he picked me up. He picked me right up and put me on the counter. And I was standing on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Well, what are you going to sing, Reggie?" And I said, "If I'd known you was coming, I'd have baked a cake." And so I sang. That was the one song that I knew I knew. And so I sang it for all the people in the store.
Nice.
You were
Nice.
3, right?
Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Even then, you.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Young Americans, but they were formed in Reggie's living room.
Yeah, I've heard the name, the Young Americans.
And they're still going. And so they were formed in Reggie's living room, and then he went on to the Greenwood County Singers, of course, and then they performed all across the country on national television, the Ed Sullivan Show, the Hullabaloo and Hollywood Palace, and so many, really cool, iconic television shows at the time. And he was performing at Harrah's in Reno, and they were opening for Carol Channing at the time when his mom and dad came up to give him his draft notice for Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really, ow.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end of the Greenwoods at that point.
Wow. Well, your first movie was also Don Coscarelli's first movie, Jim the World's Greatest.
Yep.
Right.
How did you get the role of O.D.?
Well, that was a cool role, by the way, and it was so me. And anyway, he saw me. I was doing performances at Long Beach City College. I was in the theater arts programs there, and so I was constantly in a play, one week to the other. And he happened to he's from Long Beach as well, and he happened to be in the audience, and he saw me in in one of the one acts I was doing, and where I the story was I was gay, and I answered an ad to be a roommate, and the guy who needed the roommate was not gay, and I was just flamingly gay. It's a lot of fun because I end up taking off my clothes and bouncing around the stage in a pair of pink patties.
Yeah.
And and Don saw that, and I was in some other stuff too that night, but that was pretty memorable. And so he
was that Circle Games?
Yeah, Circle Games. That was the name of the group of plays, I think. And so then he had Paul Pepperman, one of the producers that he was working with, call me the next day. And I'm not sure exactly how he got my number, but they called me and said, "Hey, we saw you, and Don is doing a movie, and he'd like to have you in it. Are you available to work this Sunday or something, Saturday or something?" And I said, or next Saturday, or whatever it was, whenever the play was not going to be, working or was over. And so I said, "Sure, man. Yeah, that'd be cool." And so he created the character of O.D. Sillingsley, and which was right up my alley because we were all into pot and stuff then,
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, and then he just kept getting more offers to make movies, to make films, and he just kept putting me in as one character or another, and that's the way we started.
Yeah, Don was like 21 when he made this and Kenny and Company, and he must have been under a tremendous amount of pressure from the studios.
Yeah, I'm sure he was, but he handles things very well. He always has, and he always, it was like business, and he always treated it like it was a business, especially when he was dealing with those guys. And he handled those guys pretty well. He pretty much kept them away from the shoots, it was tough when we did Phantasm 2 and 3 because we did them right there at Universal.
Yeah.
In the studios, and he had to deal with them sometimes. But I think he basically told them, don't come around too much because I'm going to be busy making you a movie. So, yeah.
Yeah. I met Don last year at a convention. That guy, he's a class act and a gentleman. I really enjoyed meeting him.
Yeah, he really is, and I think a lot of people must be surprised when they meet him because he really is the tall man.
Yeah, he was the tallest man of our production, so he was taller than the tall man. We put Angus in boots that had risers in them, lift in the to make him a little bit bigger and more imposing. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Have you read Don's books yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, you got to get them. They're very revealing about his mentality and his and how things went about the process of how he got his funding and how he was able to, the ups and downs, the rise and falls and pitfalls of being an independent producer, and things that you should never do and the things you should always do. He's very insightful in his memoirs.
I definitely will check them out.
Yeah, the book is called True Indie, and so yeah, check it out. It's really cool.
Awesome. Now, Phantasm movies come into play. What was your reaction when you read the original script?
Well, I was stoked because, for one thing, I always wanted to be in a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
I was really into scary films when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, I had theaters very close to where I lived in Bixby Knolls, the Bixby Knolls area of Long Beach, California.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of theaters there that were really nice, and so weekends I would go to the movies, and I remember the first scary movie I saw was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and that was just, that scared the hell out of me, and I just went, oh, I want to do that. I want to scare people like that. So I was really tickled when Don decided he wanted to do some horror films, and we just locked in and did it.
Mm-hmm. Was it a long shooting schedule?
It
A lot of weekends, and when you do weekend shoots, and he pegged in early on about the idea, the concept of if you have for instance, a holiday weekend, and you rent equipment on like a Friday or a Thursday night, you pick it up on Thursday night, you don't have to return it until Tuesday morning.
Right.
And for a up-and-coming cinematographer or producer or director, that's a really important key tactic to use because you're basically getting 1 to 2 nights of filming for free on your equipment, and you rent as packages. Your not just your camera, but your lighting and your sound equipment. You can get those as packages, and it really is very, very helpful to know that go in with that mindset, and it's very helpful on your budget. And Don figured that out early on in his career, and he has used that tactic over and over again. It really is the mark of a true indie to know to be able to do that if you're going to shoot weekends and holidays. So you wind up, if it's horror, you can figure you're shooting at night, you're shooting long hours. So Reggie and I have a clause in our contract that we basically have 10 hours on set and 12 hours total. And so we have actually restrictions in our contracts to prevent us from burning out on set. It's what allows us to put out our maximum amount of energy and still be able to perform, at our best for long weekends like that.
Yeah. And of course, everybody now has an iPhone.
When you're shooting for 7 years.
Yeah, everybody's got an iPhone now, so it's a little bit easier.
Not exactly. If you're a serious filmmaker, you're not going to be using an iPhone. Trust me.
What was Angus Scrimm like to work with?
He was great, but he was at the same time he was always terribly professional. But I never did. I didn't get to work with him in scenes with him until pretty much the last film.
Phantasm 5.
Yeah, when we're when I'm right up in his face. Well, actually, I was right up in his chin because I wasn't tall enough to be up in his face. But there's that great scene where he's threatening my family, and I go, it's like no, screw you, and
that was all green screen. So.
Yeah, that was a fun scene. A very telling scene, I thought.
But we also shot we shot again out at Linda Vista, which is it was a abandoned or closed down hospital that was owned by the state of California, and you could rent it for basically the fee of the caretaker and insurance, basically. And Don was able to get it for long periods of time, the blocks of time. And we shot a great deal of Phantasm 5 there. And the hospital scenes with Angus were really, really brilliant. And so Reggie had some really good scenes with Angus there as well, especially the one where they confront each other, and you have the Lady in Lavender in the scenes as well. So it's the first time that the three of them actually show up together. That was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. How about A. Michael Baldwin?
He's great.
Yeah, Michael. He was, of course, I met him when we did Kenny and Company, and he was. I was really stunned at what kind of talent he had. He was just a kid,
Mm-hmm.
He was right on. He would, deliver his lines directly into your face, and he wasn't afraid to do anything. He was really great, and I thought, well, I'm sure Don's going to want to work with this kid, some more, and of course, then we did Phantasm, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Why wasn't Bill Thornbury in Phantasm 2?
Well, okay. Here's the deal on that. As I said, we're doing it for Universal. They funded it in the whole shot, and they had somebody. It used to be, and I think it still is happening, that certain studios, pretty much all studios that are big, Universal, 20th Century Fox,
Paramount.
Paramount. They have a group of actors and actresses.
Contract actors.
Yeah, contract, and they like to use them in films if at all possible. And so James LeGros was one of those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. And since Universal was doing it, they wanted to cast somebody else other than Michael to be Mike.
And really, they forced Don. They wanted him to audition all of the roles, and Reggie had to audition for his role, in fact. They basically said, we'll give you Reggie, but and the tall men, but everybody else had to, be negotiated on, and they would not give him Michael or Bill, and so he fought really hard, and he couldn't get them, and they wanted to go this other direction with the whole paranormal psyche kind of thing, because it was sort of the times, then when Phantasm 3 came about, he really put his foot down. He said, no, he says, and by the way, Brad Pitt actually was one of the people that auditioned for Phantasm 2, and he was terrible at it. But when James LeGros came in and did his scenes, he was so prepared that he actually had the lollipop. So at the end of his scene, he pops the lollipop in his mouth and ends the scene. So it just shows you that he actually knew his role. He was prepared. He was ready to go. And then when Phantasm 3 came about, Don really put his foot down and he said, no, I want all of the people, all of the original cast, and he actually had more leverage and was able to pull it away from him, and he got his way.
Awesome. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I interviewed Stacey Travis, who played Jerry in Phantasm 2, and she told me, Reggie, you were just the sweetest guy to work with.
Well, I love working, and I love working out stuff with the actors I work with, and we just have a good time, man. And we'll jam ideas right there just before we shoot, and swap out some dialogue. When we're jamming ideas, things come out of your mouth, and you go, "Well, I'm going to say it this way," blah blah blah, and Don is really great to work with that way because he wants to know what your ideas are. He trusts you as an actor, and so that's why it's always so cool to do stuff with Don.
Well, and he'll shoot 5 times. He does what's called a 5-to-1 ratio. He'll shoot 5 times to get one really good take, and then he throws one to the actor. He'll ask around. He'll ask the primary actor in the scene. Do you need one for yourself? Do you need to? Are you happy with that? Do you need one extra? And most of the time, the actors are really good with what they've gotten. A good example was in Phantasm 4 when we were doing the Demon Trooper scene where the inserts where Reggie gets gooped by the Demon Trooper, and the Demon Trooper he leans out to see if the trooper is still there, and the Demon Trooper barfs the yellow stuff on him, and Don had me. He actually got it in the first take, but he had me do it 4 more times. And was directing me as to how he wanted, more, hit him right in the mouth. Can you get it more on the face? Can you do it more to the left? And poor Reggie was having to go through, enduring all of that. He'll actually go through that though with the actors to see, are they happy with that? And it's as a director myself, I go back to that, as to him mentoring others on how to do that and how to have that relationship with your actors. It's really important.
Yes.
And that Demon Trooper scene was really fun, but there was one that when he throws me in the trunk
15 times.
I had to get. Don wanted me to get some air,
Yeah.
before I hit the trunk, and so he set up a mini tramp, what they call it, like a little trampoline.
Yeah.
And it was about 15 feet from the trunk of the car, and so I ran and jumped on the mini tramp, got as high as I could, and made it into the trunk every time. Thankfully, but that.
And he had to have a progressive arc on that.
Yeah.
And get more and more air. And he was fine. He didn't hurt himself at all until he actually went to adjust his hard pad one night, and he felt this really strong burning pain across his back, and he woke up the next day. He couldn't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on location up in Lone Pine, and so every day after that, he had torn the connective tissue for the muscle to his spine, basically, and his ribs. And we had to take him to the hospital there on location. And so every day then for the next 2 weeks, we had to start him off with Vicodin and a shot of scotch, and then I had to pull him out of bed.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. I've had my leg broken in 7 places. I know what that's like.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So the original Phantasm, it comes out and it makes money beyond its budget. But was it difficult for you to get other movie roles besides Don's movies?
Well, sure. I think that pretty much everything I've done is because people saw me in Phantasm, and it was such a cool role, and they started writing. People started writing scripts with me in mind for a particular character, and so that's been great. That's been a lot of fun, and opens up a whole trunk full of whole trunk full of neat characters that I've been able to play, and so yeah, it's really been great, man.
When Phantasm 3 came out, Reggie was really upset because it went direct to video, and so he called up a friend, Michael Berryman from I Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Love Michael.
Eyes, Evil Spirits.
Yeah.
And he said, he expressed his unhappiness with the situation. And Mike says, well, I have this booking agent that is getting me onto these conventions, and she's really getting me out there to promote my projects. You should talk to her. And so he calls me up, and he had no idea what a fan I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so he calls me up, and he goes, hi, my name is Reggie Bannister. And I'm like, oh, yay. And he goes, I don't know if you're familiar with my work. And I'm like, oh, yes, I'm very familiar with your work. And he goes, he had no idea that I'd actually seen the original in 1979. And we arranged to meet, and I brought Elizabeth Brooks from The Howling with me because she was one of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And, we really hit it off the first time we met. I thought someone had reached in and grabbed my soul, and he thought I had a big stick up my butt. And so we had a really good working relationship from the get-go. And within about 6 months, we had a working relationship, and I immediately started booking him into conventions around the country, and we were doing very, very well. And so my partner and I immediately decided to bring him in as a business partner in Production Magic. And then in January of 1995, we incorporated, and he was one of the business partners. After Phantasm 3, we started getting him out of the Phantasm franchise and into other roles, and expanding his character roles. And you can see on Internet Movie Database, it was right about 1995, 1996 when his other roles start coming out, other films start coming out, and that's when we started expanding his character base, if you will.
Yeah, in 1990...
I purposely went after different types of roles for him.
Yeah, in 1990, he did Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was fun. It was all good. I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed everybody that I was working with. We had a good time putting that together. So, yeah, I've been very fortunate in my career to have been able to, work so many different types of films and so many different types of characters. And that's what an actor really likes to do. So I've really been fortunate.
Yeah, you've gotten to play a pharmacist in Wishmaster, a home administrator in Bubba Hotep.
Yep.
I mean, you've been out there.
Yeah, we just went to a screening of Bubba Hotep a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and it was fun to see it on the big screen again, and everybody just loved it. The theater was packed, and that was I think it was the Egyptian.
Yeah, it was the Egyptian.
The Egyptian theater here in Southern
Mm-hmm.
in Hollywood, actually. Yeah, they loved it, and the crowd did, and they laughed and clapped, and they were just really digging it.
It's really good to know that fans still really appreciate that film, you know, because it's so poignant on so many levels, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are your favorite of the 5 Phantasm movies?
What is your favorite of the 5?
Geez, you know, that's a really tough question.
It's hard because each one has a different memory for you.
Yeah, it's sure, and you know, different, like I said, the different actors and you know, character roles that Don comes up with, and it's really difficult to say that, but I have to say that the first one was really a lot of fun for me because number one, I was creating the character as we're doing it, you know, and it turned out to be a character that, you know, lasted for 4 more films, and it really kind of made my life, you know. So I'd have to say I think maybe the first one would be my favorite in you know, looking back, because it started the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely love the first one. That's my favorite one because it was the first one, and it's just so fresh and so great.
Do you like the remastered?
I haven't seen the remastered.
You definitely gotta see that, especially if you have the opportunity to see it on a big screen, because it just it's so crisp, it's so clear, and the sound has been reworked as well. J.J. Abrams really did us a solid on this, and we really are so appreciative for everything that Bad Robot did for us on that.
Awesome. Yeah. I asked Don what his favorite one was, and he said he couldn't choose because they're like his children, but...
they are.
Yeah. He told me, though...
Doing a film is a lot like giving birth. I mean, it starts with the concept, a little spark in your memory, you know, of an idea, and then you go to script, and then you bring it to storyboarding. Reg and I work a lot off of storyboarding. It really helps. It helps the DP. It helps the director. If you're not directing, it helps the director. It also helps the different departments. It really helps them, you know, visualize your vision, you know, and bring it to fruition. And then from storyboarding directly to shooting. And then when I direct, I like to when I shoot, I like to have big screens, at least one big screen, even if it's on film. I will like I shot Schrodinger's cat on 16 millimeter, and I mirror it with digital, and so that you can see what you're filming at the same time. And and then I have a big screen, you know, TV monitor at the same time, and so that you can see what you're filming. And it allows you to have several rehearsals before you actually use the film, and that saves you on film. And then you're it makes it more inclusive for everyone else, you know, for the crew. And then when you have your dailies, and then you get to show that to the crew, and then you get to the cast and crew screening, and it's really a family inclusive project to be able to do it that way as an independent filmmaker, and then you have the first public screening, and that's sort of like your quinceañera, if you will. You know, you finally are coming of age, and you're full-grown adult. Your baby gets released into the world. So yeah, it's really, you're bringing your baby all the way to adulthood. You know, from story concept, just a thought, all the way to adulthood. And John's had so many of them. He's got a whole brood. He's got like a whole baseball team.
Yeah. Reggie, do you have any upcoming projects or convention appearances you want to plug?
Well, we're just, we do a lot of, I don't have any real projects right now.
Well, we have a few, but they're kind of under wraps. I mean, we're working on like his album, Reggie Bannister Live at the West Coast Bodega, but it's coming along quite slowly because of financing and because of mastering. We had some tapes that were on 4-track that resurfaced, if you will, and they were digitalized. And so we're working on bringing those out for the fans and putting them together as an album, which is going to be pretty exciting because those were done right about Phantasm 2, is that right?
The Bodega stuff?
Yeah.
No, actually, it was...
or 3.
It was like the first one, I think.
First one? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And so that's kind of exciting to be revisiting that music. And then we're trying to get out there for the 40th anniversary is next year for the original Phantasm, so we're trying to get reunion convention appearances together and scheduled for next year. So if you know, and the only way that these days that we get reunion appearances is if fans contact the producers of the conventions and say, look, we want the Phantasm group there. And because, every dollar counts for conventions, and if you want it, they'll bring it, but you've got to tell people what you want. And
Yeah.
That's what we're working on right now is the Phantasm reunion stuff. I just did a new thing called the Phantasm Nutcrackers, where I actually did some Nutcrackers of the original cast. That's on our Facebook stuff. And so we've got some projects going on, and then there's some film projects that are in the works, but they're non-Phantasm related. And then I'm working on some books. But it's just if anyone knows us, they know that Reggie and I are never just dormant. We're always working on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been telling conventions for 2 years to get a Phantasm reunion or something going and stuff. I go out to Monsterpalooza every year, and I've been telling them to book you guys. They have listened to me in the past, but when it comes to Phantasm, they don't listen.
I don't know what it is. I've even asked Elliot, did I say something? Am I too out there? What's going on? He goes, no. It's just, there's so many really cool people out there and cool franchises that, I just have run out of space, literally. And the fire marshals are coming down hard on them.
Oh.
And so it's like, it's really all about money and space and supply and demand. So Phantasm fans have really got to be out there. The power of the fan talks. And I always say you can't say Phantasm without saying fan. So
Right.
hashtag Phantasm 40 and get it out there, get it trending, and make them listen to you. Get a hold of Fangoria, I think it's at Fangoria, and get them trending, get hashtag Phantasm 40 trending, and let's rock. Let's make them listen.
Yeah, absolutely. I was there last year when they had all the Nightmare on Elm Street people there, and oh my God, the fire marshals were just going out of their minds there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's so. But you know what? That's kind of cool in a sense. That the horror conventions and sci-fi conventions are so it doesn't matter where you have it, you know, a convention center, you know, a huge building like that.
Marriott or the convention
Marriott,
center. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you just, you know, you fill it with people.
$10 speak.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, I hope I get to meet you both in 2019 at a convention or a screening or something, because
You betcha.
you two just are very awesome. I mean, Denise told me that you both were awesome, so I'm glad we got to do this.
We love Denise. We love Shriekfest, and they're the kindest, sweetest people. They have really great volunteers, and we would have liked to have been there this year, but we just couldn't work it out. But you know, hopefully we'll be there next year as judges or as presenters again. We really love presenting for them, and again, they're just really the kindest, sweetest people. And you know, we love our fans. We have fans that are like no others, and all around the world, and they've really been coming out lately and expressing themselves, and we really appreciate it. So you can see us on Twitter at Fast Elk and at Reggie Bannister, hashtag Reggie Bannister, and then I think Instagram is the same thing on Instagram. So
Awesome. Well, thank you both for your time. I hope you both have happy holidays, and God bless.
You do the same, sweetie.
And God bless you both.
Fantastic holidays.
Have a great day, guys.
All right, sweetie. You take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Reggie Bannister and his awesome wife, Gigi. Aren't they sweethearts? Thank you so much, guys. I'm glad we got to do this. You both are awesome. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.